here's Brody Brazil.
There's so much talk lately of how much money the A's are bound to be spending in the next few years. First off, there's the Las Vegas ballpark, which has a starting cost of about $1.5 billion. There's also the players' salaries and payroll, which the A's say will dramatically increase. And to get that to league averages in the next 10 years alone, that's also another $1 billion. So when I tell you about the $45 million bill that they might have to Alameda County, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's something that so far has kind of got lost in the shuffle. Let me explain here with the backstory. You're obviously familiar with the Coliseum complex. It's always been known for decades as the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum complex. As in, Oakland, the city, owns half of the land, and Alameda County owns the other 50% of the land. Well, that changed in the last few years. I'll get into that. 2018, March of that year, the A's actually offered to buy the entire Coliseum site to purchase it for $135 million. This is a letter from team president Dave Kaval to then mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaaf. And the biggest takeaway portion said this: "It has become clear that the A's need to solidify control of the one site in Oakland that offers an assured path for the development of a new privately financed baseball venue, the existing Coliseum complex." So the A's made it clear their intentions at that time was to purchase the entire Coliseum complex so that it was a last resort to definitely build a baseball stadium there just in case Howard Terminal or anything else didn't work out. This was the assured path for development of their new ballpark. Well, that sentiment changed over time, as we'll get to, but before the sentiment changed, the purchase of half that land occurred. The A's bought Alameda County's half in 2019 for the price of $85 million, which I'm not a real estate person, but a lot of people will tell you that is way below market value. They'll also give the explanation that Alameda County was looking to get out of ownership of the Coliseum complex. They trusted the A's that they wanted to stay there and that this was a good faith type deal. They wanted out. They just wanted to sell it for an agreeable price. So $85 million was the agreement for half the land back then. Which brings us back to recent times. A couple weeks ago, this was right after the MLB owners meetings in Texas, A's owner John Fisher said this about the 50% Coliseum site purchase. Quote, "The reason that we acquired half the Coliseum was because we believed strongly in the market of Oakland. It was not because we saw that necessarily as an alternative to Howard Terminal. I subscribe to the idea that if we're going to make this kind of investment in Oakland in the form of building a new stadium at Howard Terminal, it was a bet on the future success of Oakland." End quote. So, two different perspectives there before and after the purchase, but this is how it sits right now. I'll explain it with numbers in just a second, but sometimes the visual is what you need to see. And it's literally not a line drawn in half of the Coliseum site and acreage, but it's 50-50 between the A's and the city of Oakland. And these are not two entities right now which see eye to eye on anything or many things, to say the least. The Coliseum site is 120 acres, 50-50, Oakland and the Oakland A's, and the Joint Powers Authority is the entity in charge of management and improvements for the site. They were basically put into place years ago by the city and county because neither one of those sides wanted to be in total control. They made the Joint Powers Authority, it's a board. They make executive decisions and things like who gets a lease, who gets to call the Coliseum complex home with both the stadium and arena structures. Okay, now on to the $45 million part. And this has been widely known for a while, but it was recently covered in the San Jose Mercury News. The purchase contract between the A's and Alameda County, there was no language in there about the A's relocating and having to give back the land, having no part in it, and having to surrender it or even have it just have the sale taken away. Nothing about that. It did say this: under the contract, the payments, as in the payments of the purchase of $85 million, shall become immediately due and payable to the county within 180 days of the Athletics' announcement of their relocation out of Oakland. The article goes on to say that 180-day clock has passed. Of the 7 payments called for in the deal, the team still owes 3, totaling $45 million. So essentially, $40 million in payments have already happened, up to the $85 million price tag. 45 are still due. But to redo this one more time, $45 million is due within 180 days of the A's announcement of their relocation out of Oakland. Now, the article here suggesting that 180-day clock has already passed, and that article references April 19th, the night it came out that the team had a binding agreement, they said, for that land purchase of the Wild Wild West site in Las Vegas that became unbinded. But if we were going on that, April 19th, 180 days after that is approximately October 19th. I mean, the A's did announce their intentions to relocate. They didn't have all the approvals. They didn't have truly a binding agreement, but they said they were moving. And 6 months later, Alameda County has not collected $45 million. But when was the announcement? Was it June 15th, when Nevada Governor Joe Lombardo signed SB 1, which enabled $380 million of public funding to a stadium project? Was that it? Because if it was June 15th is where the clock started ticking, then the A's will owe that $45 million to Alameda County by December 15th. That's right around the corner. But maybe that wasn't the official announcement. Maybe it was November 16th, recently, when the MLB owners unanimously approved the A's relocation to Las Vegas. 30-0. That would mean that the $45 million is due by April 16th. But up to now, there's been no indication by Alameda County of when the clock starts ticking and when this $45 million would be due. Now, is $45 million the end of the world? Is that going to change something dramatically for any side? No. But it's also a significant portion of what the A's team payroll might be for this upcoming season. It's something. It's not nothing. But as of right now, it's definitely seeming to get lost in the shuffle. So it's hard to say that they're not relocating. They're trying to. They've announced it. The language says when they've announced it that they have 180 days. Obviously, there probably should have been more language in there for a sale and a purchase like this, that if you relocate, forget the money, you just don't get the sale anymore. We will cancel the sale. We'll give you your money back. Alameda County takes ownership back, and now they could sell the land for so much more than $85 million for their 50%. Could you imagine what they could get for 50% of that land today? At least double, if we're speculating. Who knows? So that's $45 million up in the air right now, and really no answers from Alameda County. That's something that they should publicly respond to sooner than later. Thumbs up since you made it here to the end of the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.